Opening credits. Ava and Carol Detective Agency, The Haunted Mansion. Written by Thomas Lockhaven, with Emily Chase. Edited by Dave Aretha. Narrated by Amy Johnson. Chapter 17. Archie's Collectibles. Ava, Carol, and Derek scampered behind a cream-colored sofa closest to the front door. Ava peeked over the couch, scanning the reading room. There was a fireplace, 2 more cream-colored couches, and a half-dozen chairs with long, flat tables in front of them. A variety of potted plants were placed in each corner, and the walls were filled with colorful covers of super-old comic books. Ava dropped back beside Derek and Carol. "I hate being stuck in the reading room. It's like being banished to a library." "A library with cool furniture," added Derek. "Shh," whispered Carol, placing a finger to her lips. The trio listened intently. They could hear the plasma torch fire up, the grate being moved to the side, and then footsteps. Heavy footsteps. "Here they come," whispered Carol excitedly. Detective Edwards' fingers swiped across his phone, sending out a text he had already prepared. Deploy. He knew that as soon as Lieutenant Norris got the message, his team would be on the way. He held up 4 fingers to Officers McCoy and Davis. The thieves would get the surprise of their lives in 4 minutes. The thieves were professionals. They worked quickly and efficiently. A tall man in a black hoodie rolled what looked like a cooler on wheels across the floor and down the hallway. He paused at a large wooden door and nodded to a shaggy, red-haired man in a green hoodie. The man jammed a crowbar into the door frame and yanked. The wood cracked and splintered around the lock. "Good enough," said the man in the black hoodie. He took a step back and kicked the door open. "Like taking candy from a baby." He laughed evilly. "A rich baby," replied the other thief. Seconds later, a familiar whooshing sound filled the office. "He must have his safe hidden in his office," whispered Derek bitterly. The girls nodded. Anger surged through Carol's veins. They had destroyed his door, and now they were destroying his safe. What is taking Detective Edwards so long? Detective Edwards looked at his watch and took in a deep breath. In 60 seconds, Lieutenant Norris would be in position. Suddenly, a woman with a shaved head and black combat boots was standing less than 5 feet from where he was hiding. He watched as she crouched below a series of glass display cases. What is she doing? She flicked a switch, and a little green light went out. She's turning off the alarms. The woman removed a pair of bolt cutters from her jacket and began cutting off the locks. Detective Edwards signaled to his team. It was go time. "Livingston Police!" yelled Officer Davis, rushing toward the thief with the shaved head. The woman whipped around. If she was surprised, it didn't show. She raised her hands in the air, a smirk on her face. "Well, hello, officer," she smiled. "Drop the bolt cutters now," said Officer Davis, drawing her taser, inching closer toward her. "Oh, these?" said the woman coyly. "Drop them now. I won't ask—" Officer Davis dove to the side as the bolt cutters whipped past her head, sinking into the wall with a deep thud. She covered her head with her arms as a heavy lamp came crashing down onto her. The woman hurtled over the display case and raced through Archie's, heading for the front door. She was going to escape. Detective Edwards and Officer McCoy cautiously approached the hallway, tasers drawn. The man with the shaggy red hair jumped out of a closet, swinging a crowbar. Officer McCoy ducked under the blow and tackled the man to the floor, sending the crowbar flying. The tall thief in the black hoodie stood defiantly in the hallway. He brandished the wand of the plasma cutter, flames shooting out the end like a 6-inch fiery blue knife. His pale olive-green eyes stared at Detective Edwards, unblinking, fearless. "Put the torch down," demanded Detective Edwards. "This isn't going to end well for you." "What?" the man asked, as if confused. "This thing?" He raised the flaming wand to the ceiling, triggering the sprinkler system. Instantly, a powerful jet of water sprayed into Detective Edwards' face, momentarily blinding him. The thief rushed forward, dropping his shoulder into the detective's chest, driving him to the ground. Detective Edwards groaned and rolled to his side as the thief raced back toward the tunnel. "Norris!" he gasped into his radio. "He's coming!" Water poured from the ceiling. Emergency strobe lights flashed. The woman with the shaved head burst through the doorway and slid into the reading room. Ava pulled her soaking wet, matted hair from her face and peered around the edge of the couch. She watched in horror. The woman was going to get away. "The couch," whispered Ava to Derek and Carol. "Hit her with the couch." The woman crashed into the front door. She gripped the slippery doorknob, and then, to her surprise, she was suddenly airborne as the trio slammed the couch into her like a battering ram. She landed hard, skidding across the floor. "Got her!" yelled Ava. But her excitement was short-lived. The woman leapt to her feet, glaring at them. "Out of my way or I'm gonna snap your necks," snarled the woman.
"That's not good," gulped Carol. "She's like a super ninja."
"You don't scare us," yelled Ava. "Speak for yourself," said Derek. "I personally find her terrifying." Derek didn't get to finish his sentence as the woman steamrolled over him. Using his chest as a springboard, she jumped up and over the couch. She slammed the bolt lock open with the palm of her hand and grabbed the doorknob.
"Oh, no, you don't!"
screamed Carol like a wild banshee. She jumped onto the couch and launched herself onto the woman's back. "I'm coming!" yelled Ava, slipping and sliding around the sofa. She closed her eyes and dove at the woman's legs. To her surprise, the woman didn't fall. However, she did find herself wrapped around the woman's leg like a monkey. "Get off me!" yelled the woman, kicking violently while simultaneously slamming Carol against the wall. "Not gonna happen!" yelled Ava, imagining herself as a rodeo rider. The woman was incredibly strong. Ava was beginning to wonder how much longer she could hang on when she heard Derek's beautiful voice cry out, "Face plant!" Suddenly, the woman groaned and toppled to the floor. The girls looked up to see Derek smiling, holding a broken flower pot in his hand. "Get it?" he smiled. "Face plant." The woman moaned as the trio sat on her back. Officer Davis rushed into the room, slipping and sliding. "Boom. Ride's over, crazy lady," said Ava to the woman, pretending to drop a microphone. Officer Davis stared in amazement at the woman moaning on the floor, her head covered with mud and flowers. "You guys okay?" she asked, trying not to laugh.
"We're fine,"
smiled Carol. "The plant?" she said, pointing to the broken pot.
"Not so much."
Detective Edwards turned the corner just in time to see the blonde-haired thief lower himself through the grate. Seconds later, he heard a loud electrical zap. He winced, knowing that the man had run right into Lieutenant Norris and his taser. Wiping the water from his eyes, he made his way back to the hallway. Officer McCoy had just handcuffed the thief with the shaggy hair. He turned and gave Detective Edwards a thumbs up. The sprinkler system and flashing strobes had finally shut off.
"This is horrible,"
said Carol, looking around at the destruction. "Hopefully his most valuable items are in the safe or in display cases." A blinking red light flashed in the front window of Archie's, catching Ava's attention. She glanced up just in time to see a black drone fly away. Running to the door, she flung it open and stepped out onto the street. A tall, thin man jumped into a sleek black car, but not before Ava recognized him. Harvey from the Public Works Department. "Carol!" yelled Ava. "Wardrobe!"
If you're enjoying Thomas Lockhaven's audiobook content, please like and subscribe. It's the best way to help out the channel.